Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is Renuka bringing glimpses of major developments of the day from across the globe. The headlines. Joe Biden opens a 10-point edge over Donald Trump in the U.S. presidential race. Trump says he will be back soon. Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi addresses international webinar on textile traditions. Armenia and Azerbaijan accuse each other of shelling civilian targets during the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. German Chancellor Angela Merkel warns China of limiting Beijing's access to European markets. Around 400 to 500 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine expected to be ready in India by July next year. And in tennis, top seed Simona Halep crashes out of the French Open. Democrat Joe Biden opened his widest lead in a month in the U.S. presidential race after President Donald Trump tested positive for the coronavirus. His 10-point edge over Trump is 1 to 2 points higher than the leads he posted over the past several weeks. According to a national opinion poll, on 51% adult voters were backing Biden, while 41% said they were voting for Trump. However, to win the presidency, a candidate must prevail in enough states to win the Electoral College. The state polls show that Trump is nearly as popular as Biden in battleground states. Meanwhile, there has been an outpouring of support for Trump beyond his core group of followers. Earlier today, Trump thanked his supporters and shared updates regarding his health. He said that he will be back soon to finish the presidential election campaign.
I want to begin by thanking all of the incredible medical professionals, the doctors, the nurses, everybody at Walter Reed Medical Center for the incredible job they've been doing. I feel much better now. We're working hard to get me all the way back. I think I'll be back soon, and I look forward to finishing up the campaign.
Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will limit his East Asia visit to Japan only and not to go to Mongolia and South Korea as originally planned. In Tokyo, he will be attending a meeting with foreign ministers of the Quad nations, including India and Australia and Japan. He will be returning to Washington on 6th October. The visit is important to strengthen ties with regional allies on issues in the Indo-Pacific region. High on the agenda are issues like China's dealings with coronavirus, trade issues and new security law in Hong Kong. Tension in the South China Sea and the alleged repression of religious and ethnic minorities in China are expected to figure prominently. Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi has said that the textile sector is a key sector that will help build a self-reliant India. He was addressing an international webinar on textile traditions organized by the Indian Council for Cultural Relations yesterday. Mr. Modi said India wants its weavers to learn global best practices to assist them in continuing to make world-class products.
Today, we look at textile as a key sector that will help us build an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Our self-reliant India, our government is particularly focusing on skills upgradation, financial assistance, integration the sector with latest technology. We are assisting our weavers to help them continue to make world-class products.
The Indian Prime Minister said that textile traditions of the country have showcased diversity and adaptability, self-reliance, skill and innovation. Exchange of ideas and sharing of best practices in this webinar will create new avenues for collaboration.
Our link with the textile sector goes back centuries. In the textile sector, you can see our history, our diversity and immense opportunity. India has textile traditions that are very old. We were one of the earliest to spin, weave and dye cotton. Naturally, colored cotton has a long and glorious history in India.
Armenia and Azerbaijan have accused each other of targeting civilians in the fighting between the two sides, which broke out a week ago in the breakaway region. Azerbaijan on Sunday said that Armenian forces had fired rockets at its second city of Ganja, killing one civilian and wounding 4. It threatened to retaliate by destroying military targets inside Armenia. The Azerbaijani Defense Ministry alleged that Azerbaijani cities of Terter and Horadiz were shelled by the Armenian army. Earlier in the day, Armenian Defense Ministry spokesperson said that Baku was shelling civilian targets in the capital city of Nagorno-Karabakh. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has warned China that Europe will start limiting Beijing's access to its market for trade if it does not reciprocate with a major opening. She was speaking after a two-day special EU summit in Brussels. Merkel said the barriers to entry with regard to China are still too high and a reciprocity is expected for the investment agreement. The special EU summit saw all heads of government discuss China as a top item on the agenda. Earlier on Wednesday, Merkel, while addressing German parliament, the Bundestag, criticized China over recent developments in Hong Kong and other human rights issues. Ethnic Mongolians in China's Inner Mongolia region have come out in protest against a new educational policy. It makes mandatory for the Inner Mongolia students to take classes in language, history and politics entirely in the Chinese language. This new policy has been introduced by the Communist Party of China, CCP, on 1st of September. It has worried the protesters as they believe that it is a threat to Mongolian culture and language in the region. India and Bangladesh held the second edition of bilateral naval exercise Bongo Sagar yesterday in North Bay of Bengal. The navies participated in surface warfare drills, seamanship evaluations and helicopter operations. The exercise is aimed at developing interoperability and joint operational skills through conduct of maritime exercises and operations. Bongo Sagar will be followed by the third edition of India-Bangladesh Coordinated Patrol, CORPAT, on the 4th and 5th of October. During this exercise, both navies would be undertaking joint patrolling along the International Maritime Boundary Line (IMBL). These exercises reflect Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi's vision of Sagar, that is security and growth for all in the region. Canadian Baloch rights activists have protested against Pakistani atrocities in Balochistan. The World Sindhi Congress and Pashtun Tahaffuz movement actively participated in the protest. October 4 commemorates the fourth year of the disappearance of Baloch student leader Shabir Baloch from Oran in Balochistan. The protesters condemned human rights violation in Balochistan, Sindh and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Balochistan is a resource-rich but least developed province of Pakistan where a movement for freedom is ongoing for the past several decades. A large number of political activists, intellectuals, women and children have been victims of enforced disappearances in the region. Now let us take a look at the coronavirus updates from around the world. According to WHO data, the number of infected cases has crossed 34.80 million worldwide. Thousands of demonstrators in southern Germany protested against coronavirus restrictions over the weekend. Britain's coronavirus cases rose sharply to record level of 12,872 and France reported nearly 17,000 cases on Saturday. Meanwhile, Saudi authorities have allowed Umrah pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca after a 7-month hiatus. With over 5.5 million recoveries so far, India continues to occupy the top global position as the country with the maximum number of recoveries. Health Minister of India Dr. Harshvardhan has said that around 400 to 500 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine are expected to be ready in the country by July next year.
Our government is working round the clock to ensure that there is a fair and equitable distribution of vaccines once they are ready. There is a high-level expert body going into all aspects of the vaccine. Lists of citizen groups which will require vaccine administration on top priority are being drawn up by the Health Ministry. Our rough estimate and target would be to receive and utilize 4 to 500 million doses covering approximately 20 to 25 crore people by July 2021.
Moving on to sports, in French Open tennis, top seed Simona Halep lost to Polish teenager Iga Swiatek in straight sets, while world number 1 Novak Djokovic breezed into the round of last 16 and Rafael Nadal cruised to men's single quarterfinals today. In Indian Premier League cricket, Mumbai Indians defeated Sunrisers Hyderabad by 34 runs. In another match today, Kings 11 Punjab sets a target of 178 runs for 4 wickets in their stipulated 20 overs. In its reply, Chennai Super Kings had scored 112 for no loss. And that is the end of this news bulletin.